In February of 1959, 9 experienced hikers, all university students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, set out on a trek through the northern Ural Mountains in the Soviet Union. They were led by Igor Dyatlov, a skilled outdoorsman. None of them returned. When a search party finally found their camp 3 weeks later, the scene defied explanation. The tent had been sliced open from the inside with a knife. 9 sets of footprints led away into the deep snow, barefoot or in socks, or wearing a single shoe. The temperatures were minus 30 degrees Celsius. And whatever made 9 trained hikers flee their shelter, cutting their way out rather than using the entrance, was terrifying enough to make them choose near certain death by exposure over whatever was inside that tent. Over the following weeks and months, search parties found the bodies of all 9 hikers scattered across the slope of Kholat-Syakhl, a name that means dead mountain in the local Mansi language. The first 5 were found near a cedar tree, where searchers discovered the remains of a small fire. They had died of hypothermia, having fled into the cold in wholly inadequate clothing. Their bodies showed no unusual injuries. But the remaining 4 bodies, found weeks later buried under deep snow in a ravine, told a different story. 3 of them had suffered catastrophic internal injuries, crushed ribs, a fractured skull so severe it would have required a force comparable to a car crash. Yet there were no external wounds, no bruises, no cuts, no sign of a physical struggle. It was as if an immense invisible pressure had simply crushed them from the inside out. The forensic details only deepened the horror. 2 of the hikers were found missing their eyes. 1 was missing her tongue. Animals, the investigation said, but the bodies had been face down in snow and water for weeks, and scavengers typically target soft tissue first. Radioactive contamination was detected on some of the hikers' clothing. Not enough to kill, but enough to raise questions. What were they doing near a radioactive source? The hikers' skin had an unusual orange-brown tint, and their hair had gone grey, despite their youth. The official Soviet investigation closed with the most frustrating verdict imaginable. The hikers died due to a compelling natural force. No elaboration, no explanation. The case file was classified for decades. Perhaps the most disturbing detail is what the footprints revealed, and what they did not. The tracks in the snow were orderly, single file, walking, not running. There was no sign of panic in the footprints, no stumbling, no scattering in different directions. 9 people, inadequately dressed in temperatures of minus 30 Celsius, simply walked away from their shelter into the dark and the cold as if they had made a deliberate, collective decision. They did not flee. They evacuated. The tent showed no signs of external attack, no animal tracks, no footprints of strangers, no disturbance from outside. Whatever made them leave came from within, or it came from the sky. In the decades since, theories have multiplied like snowflakes. The most widely cited, a Soviet weapons test gone wrong. The area was near missile testing ranges, and a shockwave from a detonation or a falling rocket stage could explain the crushing injuries without external wounds, a phenomenon called blast wave trauma. Other hikers in the region that night reported seeing strange orange orbs in the sky, moving in ways that aircraft of the era could not. A more recent theory proposes infrasound. Wind patterns over the mountain's peculiar shape could have generated low-frequency sound waves below human hearing that induce panic, disorientation, and an irresistible urge to flee. Every theory has a champion. Every theory has a critic. The truth died on that mountain with 9 young students in February 19. In 2019, 60 years after the incident, Russian authorities unexpectedly reopened the Dyatlov Pass investigation. For 2 years, prosecutors and forensic experts re-examined the evidence, interviewed surviving relatives, and ran computer simulations. In July 2021, they released their conclusion: a slab avalanche. The hikers, they said, heard the snow cracking above their tent and fled in panic before the slide hit. The crushing injuries were caused by the snow itself. Case closed. But the avalanche theory has major problems. The slope where the tent was found is too shallow to generate a deadly avalanche. The tent was still standing, not buried, and modern avalanche simulations show that a slab slide on that slope would have produced forces far too weak to cause the catastrophic internal injuries found on 3 of the hikers. Not to mention the radiation, the missing tongue and eyes, and the strange orange lights reported by witnesses, none of which the official conclusion addressed at all. 66 years later, the Dyatlov Pass incident still haunts the families and the investigators alike. Some of the original Soviet case files remain classified to this day, 66 years after the event. What is still hidden? What did the Soviet government know that it chose to bury along with the 9 bodies on Dead Mountain? The mountain pass where they died now bears Igor Dyatlov's name, a permanent memorial to 9 young people who set out for an adventure and encountered something no one has ever been able to explain. Their families are still waiting. The Russian government has issued its official conclusion, but it has not answered the questions that matter. And the orange lights, the crushing injuries without wounds, the missing tongue, the radiation, these things still hang in the cold Siberian air, unresolved, unacknowledged, and deeply unsettling. The world's oldest temple, deliberately buried. A ghost ship found with everyone gone. A colony that vanished, leaving a single word carved in wood. And now the Dyatlov Pass, 9 hikers who fled into temperatures that would kill within minutes, bearing injuries science cannot explain, leaving footprints that tell no clear story. The mountain keeps its dead. The files stay sealed. The families still wait. Follow for more forgotten weird history.